better than normal.
Thank you and welcome to the Attleboro School Committee meeting of Monday, November 21st, 2022. This is your notice and reminder that this meeting is being electronically recorded. Tonight we have a couple of spotlight events, and to start we'll do the Attleboro Garden Club and call up Ms. Naomi Campbell.
Here if I slide.
Sure, slide right on over.
Having a little issue with my back, so it's easier if I can stay seated.
So thank you so much. Ms. Cordell is here with us this evening. She has once again provided our schools and their libraries with books, which she's always taken great care in selecting in honor of Education Week. And so we really do appreciate you continuing to come and present these books to us.
Thank you.
And,
The one I chose this year for actually the elementary and middle schools, because the ones that been to the elementary schools in the past were lower level elementary, first and second grades largely. This one starts at about a third grade and goes into fifth and sixth. So, and it's very appropriate. It's all STEM and STEAM projects. And it has special keys for teachers or parents to use on activities that you can garden with kids, but that will build those skills that we're all looking for children. So all of the middle schools and elementary schools will get one of these. And I made little book plates for them that are inside that say, plant dreams, dig out doubts, and build a happy life. So that's nice. Now the high school's a whole different ballgame. So for them, they're getting how to not kill your houseplants, which I think probably a whole lot of people would like to read. Big kids tend to already know. If they're going to plant, they know already. They've learned, they've planted with their mom and dad or planted by themselves or whatever they're planting, who knows. But houseplants are a kicker for us in New England because we set them out on the porch in the summer and you take them in, all of a sudden there are bugs crawling around them and so forth. So here's one for them on how to not kill your houseplants. So we also this year gave a $500 scholarship from the Garden Club to a senior who just graduated, and he's at UNH doing some kind of environmental studies. It's pretty hard to find somebody who's majoring in botany these days. We tend to have pulled away from the liberal arts curriculum, but he's a very nice kid, very, very nice kid. I'm going to leave him nameless because that's his business, not ours. But Garden Club, again, would like you to accept these books from all of us to the children of Attleboro.
Thank you, Ms. Cordell. It's always nice to have you here. Sorry I stepped on your toes.
oh no, I was just going to say thank you so much. So yeah.
We always are happy to have you here and happy for the relationship between the Garden Club and the Attleboro Public Schools. And we're happy to take a vote to accept those books from the Attleboro Garden Club. And so at this time, I can entertain a motion to accept the books donations from the Attleboro Garden Club. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
See,
Cordell.
we don't just throw candy at the Santa parade. We do other stuff. And I'm sure these kids are waiting to do their thing, so I'm going to roll back. Try to go find my car. I don't know where it is.
So we're lucky enough to have two spotlight events tonight, and the second is Thatcher Elementary School. And for that introduction, I'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Regan.
Thank you, Chairman Withers. Tonight we have our first spotlight presentation from one of our schools, and that's with Thatcher Elementary School and Principal Frank Rich and Assistant Principal Sarah Desitel. Their presentation will focus on work they're doing to continue to build a positive school culture. And I think many of you were, but I hope that you were able to experience one of their strategies on the way into the building this evening. So with that, I'll hand it over to Principal Rich.
Thank you all so much for letting us come. We really appreciate the opportunity to even just get a quick little glimpse into some of the amazing things that are going on at our school over the course of the year. And To echo what Ms. Regan said, I hope you enjoyed your welcome as you came into the building. It's certainly a nicer way, certainly for the students on a Monday morning to come into school. Everyone, a little bit of case of the Mondays can be cured with some excitement and nice music and dancing and things like that to get in the school. So we have a couple of things we're going to showcase today. I'm going to start by introducing Alicia Morin and Tanya Adler. Alicia Morin was sort of kick-started the Kindness Squad, and Tanya Adler has taken up the baton as Ms. Morin has shifted on to a new challenge. So I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to let them come up.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Frank and Sarah. Now that I'm no longer at Thatcher, I appreciate that. So I'm just going to talk a little bit briefly about my idea for the Kindness Squad and how I came up with it. It really started in 2019. I was just sensing, I think, at the time that my students were kind of absorbing the impact of a lot of negative things that were going on in the world and society. And I wanted to really immerse them and get them fully involved in something that was positive and get them to see that although they couldn't control some of those things that they might kind of be absorbing and feeling the stresses of, this was something that they could control. Their actions, the way they treated others, the kindness that they put out into the world was something that they did have control over and could make a very big difference through very small actions. And so we started off on a small scale in 2019 with just doing positive pranks, we called them, every Friday for students and staff in the building. And then over the next couple of years, we built upon it and adding some things, doing some school projects, and then things like Good Morning Mondays. And it's really exciting and heartwarming to know that my great friend and colleague, Tanya, is continuing something that I think is so very positive for Thatcher, and I will let her explain more details about what they're doing this year.
Thank you, Alicia. So when Alicia explained what she was doing with her class and the Kindness Squad, I fell in love with the idea of spreading positivity throughout the school. So my class joined onto the squad and began participating in the random acts of kindness throughout the school and community last year. And I had a lot of positive feedback from my students from last year. And although Alicia is no longer working at Thatcher, I wanted to continue this awesome thing that she had started. So, and I've personally noticed how much of a positive impact it has had on my students, as well as the other students throughout Thatcher and ELC. It brings my students so much joy to participate in these Kindness Squad missions, is what we call them. They get to wear their badges and they get to participate in a mission to spread kindness throughout the building. And teachers have passed along how excited their students get when they find little notes on their lockers or receive surprises in their classroom. So I'm going to leave it to my students now to share a little bit about what they do as part of the Kindness Squad and why they are in it and why they do it. So I'm going to have them come up. You guys want to come up? Come on. Yep, come on up. So, yep, you can, we'll have some sit, maybe some stand behind. If that's okay? Yep, that's fine. Yep, so we'll have some sit. Yep. Yep, and we'll just share. We've got a big group here, which is awesome. All right, so we'll start. Go ahead, Jonathan. Why don't you share?
We do the Kindness Squad because we want to brighten people's days. This makes me want to do it more. I like the Kindness Squad because I get to see people smile.
We do the Kindness Squad because it makes others want to spread their own kindness. I like the Kindness Squad because we can brighten someone's day. We also wrote cards to veterans.
We do the Kindness Squad because we want to spread kindness and we want people to feel good inside.
I like the Kindness Squad because when we be kind to others, it makes me feel so good. And I know that maybe someone will spread that kindness that I gave them. One act of kindness is we colored bookmarks and put them in books for students to find.
We do the kindness squad because we like to see others smile and feel joy.
We do the kindness squad because it makes others want to come to school, especially on Good Morning Mondays, when we cheer the students on as they walk into the building.
The kindness squad has helped our school by brightening someone's day and passing it on.
I like the kindness squad because it makes others want to spread kindness throughout the school.
We did the kindness squad because we like to bring others joy and brighten someone's day. The kindness squad has helped our school by putting a smile on someone's face or by doing a Good Morning Monday.
The kindness squad has helped our school by making others want to spread their own kindness. The kindness squad makes me feel happy when I do acts of kindness. One thing we have done is we made kindness rocks.
We're feeling a little anxious, so we have the cards, but feel free to ask any questions, so then they're ready. They're ready to answer any questions you may have about the kindness squad.
So what is the reaction from the kids, your classmates, when you cheer them on when they walk in the building? Because I found it very exciting. I didn't want to come into the meeting tonight. I wasn't feeling that great. You cheered me on and gave me the energy I needed. So how do your friends like it?
They kind of like smile and they have a lot of fun and they start to laugh and everyone just loves to smile.
Pretty much.
Anyone else? Any questions or comments? Mrs. Soares?
Who gets to pick the music? Do you always have music?
Ms. Adler.
Nice. I think you guys could probably pick some songs, tell it, right? But that was awesome. I enjoyed the song coming in. Thank you.
It was a great way to start the night.
Right.
Mr. Domenici?
Well, I believe that our school committee schedule is out for the rest of the year, so if you want to book your time now, it was just a great way to come walking in, especially for the winter. It's already dark out, so I'm proud of all the work that goes on at Thatcher, and I might be slightly biased because that's where all my kids went, but and are going, but I'm glad to have you all in front of us today, so thank you.
Did a great job.
Good job, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody. You did a great job. All right, so the second thing we wanted to spotlight really quickly, I'm going to invite Mr. Danny Rendell to join me at the table. So before I let him sort of fill you in on all the good things that this thing called Playworks is, it's maybe a thing you've heard. But across the district, we sort of noticed, my elementary colleagues, that in a lot of our meetings, we're like, man, recess is just a thing. Like, we're running into all these issues and all these problems and conflicts, et cetera, et cetera. And so actually, Mr. Caton, the principal at Willett, had heard of this thing called Playworks and introduced us to it. And we thought it sounded like a really nice, structured way to hopefully help us address some of the issues we've been facing. And so each school put together a quick Playworks team, of which Mr. Rendell is sort of our captain, I guess, as it were, of our Playworks team. So I'm going to turn it over to him, and just a fair warning, there might be audience participation for the next section.
Okay. Good luck, everybody. Again, my name is Mr. Rendell. This is my third year at Thatcher. First time in this actual room, by the way. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing that our kiddos are not rolling around in the chair as much as I was back there, too. And before we even talk about Playworks, the Kindness Squad, this was just like a small segment of it, but it bleeds kindness throughout the entire school. And something Ms. Adler is not going to say about herself is, I've noticed as a special teacher, I have all the classes, K to 4, and her class, again, doing the second year of kindness now, and Ms. Moore would probably be the same if she was with us. A single tear goes down, by the way. That they get along. The students get along with each other. They're showing kindness to the whole school, but they're also showing kindness in the classroom. And it's refreshing to see. It's refreshing to be around. I believe every time I bring the class back, I'm just like, Ms. Adler, thank you. Like, this was a great way, to start my day, which is Thursdays for those guys. So, again, Kindness Squad, you guys rock. Really, really nice and positive thing to do at our school, and the whole school loves it. from the stickers to the bookmarks to everything. So anyway, it's really, really neat. If you can have time to stop by on a Monday morning, it's really a great way to start the day. And like what Mr. Rich was saying, our PlayWorks program for recess, I have to admit, as a PE teacher, I was a little skeptical at first. Like, you're sending me to a training about PE programs. You know, I think I got this, wasn't sure. And the staff wasn't sure either about how structured it was going to be. Kids need choice at recess. Recess is an important time to go out and play and get those jitters out. So not until I actually got there did I realize what I got myself into. And it's really just programs for the kids and structured activities that the kids can choose from. So there's a plethora of things for them to choose from. For different tag games, if they want to do solo games, they're over here. Team games are over here. It's running smoothly, fantastic, and the staff is learning the games right now. So once they're on board with learning the games, they're going to be on board with it too. So PlayWorks is great. So thank you for putting that together. It only improves things. So I don't know how you guys are feeling or the space that we have, but I wanted to show you a quick PlayWorks game. Something that I can't believe I've gone 24 years of doing this and I've never played before because it's the most simple game out there. Do you think we could get in this ring somehow?
I think the table is.
Think we can do this?
They are slidable. We just have to find the end.
There we go. Made a spot.
What do you guys think? Here we go. You're bringing a gym teacher to the meeting, and this is what happens. Okay? We are looking for small audience participation, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and set these up real quick. This is super simple. You guys didn't think you were doing this. Some kind of normal meeting, right? Mr. Frank asked me, we're in an evaluation meeting, if I present. Well, I'm a teacher, so I'm not going to sit there and do anything, right? Like, we're going to do moving. He's like, yes, that's exactly what I want you to do. So this is a fast-paced game, and it's a game that students can do by themselves. So once an adult or a recess monitor gets them started, they can keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. We practiced it in gym a little bit. So we had like 3 of these games going all at the same time. So basically, Switch is the name of the game. You guys remember, right? Yeah. Okay. Switch. There's 4 different Switch bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I call this a Switch Master in the middle. So the Switch Master puts one arm up in the air, says 1, 2, 3, switch. When they say switch, everyone has to switch to a new spot. The center is no longer a spot. They have to move. If I be this person over here, I get to stay here. Last person out goes to the recycle line. We'll have the recycle line over here. All right, next person comes in. What happens most of the time, 2 kids come to the circle or our switch base at the same exact time, which is life. That happens all the time, and we rock it out. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Boom, they do it. They solve the conflict themselves. And once it's going, it's really incredible to watch. Again, this is a simple game. I was embarrassed. I hadn't seen it before, but workshops across the nation, this is a super easy one. So we're going to play a quick game. We would love for some of you to get up and just do at least one with us. You don't have a choice, sir. So all the guys come up here, leave your papers right at your desk. Yep, you're on the string cheese. That's what I pick 2. Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. Okay, I'm going to start right here in the middle first. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, switch. When I say switch, everyone has to switch to a new spot, including myself. Show me you understand. 2 thumbs up means I got it. Evaluation. You guys get that? Okay. Check for understanding. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, switch. Seriously, the first one? Okay, ready? Rock, paper, So the first person in line comes in is automatically in first. And again, this kind of shows the students that are waiting, once they're in the game, they're in charge. Like, they are the switch master, which is just another incentive to wait in line. Okay, and you know that when you're getting in the game, you're going. So when we go to the back, it's on you.
3, 2, 1, switch.
Can't go in the middle. We got 2 minutes, guys, 2 minutes. You're doing great. Keep going, you guys.
Oh, that's the rock, paper, scissors.
30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. It went fast.
1, 2, 3, switch.
So we play games in the gym where they're out here, they go to another game. Keep on going, you got this.
Oh my God.
And as you can see, multiple ages can play this game as well. So they're out, they go to a different game, a different game, a different game, a different game. And why I like it is they're in charge, they're doing it, they're running the game by themselves.
1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch.
So thanks you guys, Playworks, thanks for sponsoring that.
Nice job.
And thank you to our kindness squad one more time.
The table back?
We don't need it, we're good.
We got you okay there?
We're good.
All right. All right, give me a second here, we go. Okay. Yeah, all right, so, thank you for hearing us, and playing the game. Thank you very much, appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed, the Kindness Squad. I think it's, both of these things together are really, great additions to our school and make our, days a little bit better, over at Thatcher. So thank you all for inviting us, we really appreciate it, and we hope you have a good night. Or any questions about any of those things, or, I guess I should go on
great.
first.
Love it. Great. Thank you. Oh,
I
Mr.
just-
Dementia, go ahead.
Very quick, I thank you, Thatcher, for coming here. It's always fun to see the elementary schools come for spotlight. And I just wanted to say, I like the idea that this came from another elementary school. I like seeing the collaboration amongst all the schools, so maybe there'll have to be a national or a citywide,
Switch competition.
Switch competition.
Sounds good.
I can see it in the Olympics.
Olympic switching, yes, this will be great.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
everybody.
so much. I know, I recognize your face.
Your advisors.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, thank you. Good night.
All right, moving on in our agenda tonight, we have our superintendent's report. I will turn it over to Mrs. Sawyer.
Thank you, Chairman. I have a couple of quick updates for the committee this evening. One on our ongoing effort to fully utilize Apogee. I wanted to inform families that happen to be watching that after Thanksgiving break, we'll be sending home a message to families asking them to go in through the Aspen portal and conduct a workflow that allows them to update their contact information. One of the things that we've discovered is that the information in Aspen was set up before people had cell phones, and so traditionally that was the home phone, and some people have treated it like the home phone, although lots of people don't even have home phones anymore, so there's the cell phone, but we have it differentiated between home and cell phones in Aspen, and some people have their home phone in that spot. This app is developed for maximized use of cell phones, like most people are on their cell phones, which is why we went with this technology. So for it to really work though, we need everyone to have their cell phone in the same spot. So we need to get families to update their information and make sure that they have their cell number in the right place, because as we saw in Buffalo this weekend, the snow is coming, and if you're going to get the information from the district about cancellations, we need to have the correct phone number. So we're sending out, again, directions on how families can ensure that we have the cell number in the right spot through an automated process in Aspen. Another aspect of Apogee is that it does calls home for students who are absent every day. And traditionally as a district, we have not called families who call in their child is absent. But to ensure a fully automated process, we're going to be changing that so that basically anytime a student is absent in the district, parents will receive a call that morning that says that your child is absent, whether or not they call in or not. And that will be a change for families, and so we'll do some messaging about that. I don't think this is going to really happen until after Christmas, but we will be messaging about this in December to get people ready with the idea that that'll be a change. It's no longer the case that if you call in, you're not going to get a call. We're going to make sure that every family gets a call. That's our way of confirming that the student was absent and that we're aware of that fact. So those are two updates as we work through all of our issues with Apogee. I had a quick update on Studley. You may be aware that we've had some boiler issues. The boiler was one of the systems that was redone through the train performance contract. That work was completed this year. So, we were excited to have updated systems, but we've had some issues with the cold weather. We've realized that while the boiler was working, so it wasn't that it wasn't working, it wasn't generating the type of heat that we need to keep that building warm. So luckily we're discovering this while the temperatures haven't gotten too low. In investigating the problem, we found a failed pump that was affecting water in the system. You have to have enough water in the system for it to work. So we thought that that was going to fix the problem last week. That didn't quite turn out to be the total fix. It was part of the problem. And today we learned that they've discovered that there's an issue with the amount of pressure coming in from the utility. So the gas line isn't feeding the system enough. So we're getting gas, which is why the burner's burning, but because it's not getting enough gas, it's not fully efficient. So the gas company is coming tomorrow morning, and we believe that that whole situation will be fixed, and we'll have Studley back online as fully operational.
Mr. Storrs? Yeah, is this something that Train would not have checked when they did the install?
Yeah, so...
Has something changed since then, I guess, is the question?
Well, I think the first thing happened is that pump failed. And so that was a change from when they first got it working. And somehow there's an interplay between the pump and the gas that is now, been identified as a sort of a combination problem that both now have to be addressed. But it was functional when they tested it at install, yes.
Mr. Domenici?
I guess my follow-up is this all, any work involved covered under the Train performance contract?
So the pump technically didn't have anything to do with them because it's not really related to the heating system. It's related to sort of the plumbing in the building. I'm not a plumber, so I can't really explain it, but that's as best I can understand is that it really wasn't impacted by the installation. But Train has been very nice in helping us to resolve that as part of their work. And then I'm pretty sure that the gas company is handling the intake problem.
Okay, thank you.
I'm under the impression that there's no cost associated with all these fixes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, today and tomorrow we sent home, or in case we are sending home, COVID tests for families that requested them. We had sent home notification to families that wanted at-home tests. They were made available. The state offered us extra tests, and we took some so that we would be able to provide them to families, and it was completely on a request basis. We're not doing anything with testing. There's no need for testing, but I know that with people traveling, some families appreciate the opportunity to get their hands on a few more tests. I would point out that those tests are the same batch of tests that we've been using that have been from the state all throughout the summer and school year. They had an original expiration date of July. The state has extended that date, so if any family when they get that test, realize says, oh, this test is expired. The state says that those tests are good through January 1st. And they're the same tests that we've been using all fall long. And we have been giving away quite a few tests. Families, staff, when people want to get their hands on a test because they're concerned about exposure to COVID, we have that resource, and we're happy to provide that to anyone who asks. So I would say anyone at home who's listening, if you're worried about someone in your family contracting COVID and you want to be able to test that, we have a significant store of tests and are happy to provide those to members of the community who want to be able to do that testing. And I'll just conclude by saying that, we really have shifted into a phase in which COVID is one of many illnesses that we grapple with the district. There's been quite a bit of sickness. A lot of kids are missing significant numbers of days. I know in my family, my kids both got the bug that's going around. We've actually had some staff miss some pretty significant time. So there is quite a lot of illness out there, and that's just part of life, and we're doing our best to cope with it from a staffing perspective and helping kids to make up for their missed work. But there's no reason to believe that any of that's going to change, that this is just part of our new reality. And in the district, we're pretty well poised to make the most of whatever comes our way. And then my final update for you this evening is that it's holiday season, it's upon us, and I just wanted to share with you, we talk about these things, and some of these things have been ongoing for years, but I don't think I've ever in this forum really highlighted the fact that as a district, we take our role in the community very seriously, and we engage in a lot of partnerships to help families. The holidays can be a stressful time. Not everyone is as fortunate as others during this time, and we believe that the schools have an important role to support families. Their students are with us, and we want to make the holidays as enjoyable for everyone as possible. The district is involved in school drives, food drives in all of our schools in a central office. We do that every year. We give to the various food pantries in the city. That concludes, I believe, next week. When we get back from Thanksgiving, we go one more week. But that's an annual thing. And the Feinstein Foundation also donates money to our schools for them doing such a nice job giving to the food pantry. So there's a double win for us on our food drives. We also have a partnership with Personal Best Karate. They provide turkey dinner baskets to families, with all the ingredients that the families need to be able to have a turkey dinner. And 70 or so families here in Attleboro are receiving that support from Personal Best Karate. We also ran an event with Angel's Care Closet back on the 15th. We did that event at Willett. It was run in partnership with the closet and our EL department, and somewhere between 50 and 75 families came and made use of the donations of clothing from that organization. And of course, every year we work with Christmases for Kids, have a thriving partnership there. The schools help to identify families who need support to make Christmas happen for their children, and Christmas for Kids does all the hard work of matching that up with donors and getting them, those family that support. But I know that they count on us and appreciate the work that we do in helping them to find the families who need that support. So these are just a couple of many things that go on during this time of year in which the schools try to do our part to make the holidays a good season for all of our students.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Sawyer. All right, that'll conclude our superintendent's report tonight. We have one action item in our business agenda, and it's a motion that I'll entertain to send to the municipal council for approval payment of prior year end obligations in the amount of $4,149.33 as broken down on the November 15th memorandum.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes, we have minutes from two meetings that were circulated with your materials. That's from the November 7th, 2022 meeting and the special meeting of November 16th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from both meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Passes. Consent agenda, 5 items tonight. Motion to accept the donation, the amount of $381.05 from the Bliss Brothers fundraiser for the Attleboro High School cross-country team. Motion to accept the donation from VHS Learning in the amount of $95 to Attleboro High School for AP testing for a student participated in STEM AP. Motion to accept the contractual obligation, the amount of $2,113.47 from Shutterfly Life Touch LLC, as broken down in my November 14th memorandum. Motion to accept the payment in the amount of $11 from Bay State Textiles to Hill Roberts. And finally, motion pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 53A and a half, to accept the donation of a decommissioned 2011 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor and a 2014 Ford E350 Ecoline van for use by the Criminal Justice Program at Attleboro High School, given by the Bristol County Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor? Okay, Mr. Robert?
The cars being donated, are these to get the students around places, are they gonna be riding them, or is this more as like a classroom example? Do we know?
In the case of the what is it called, the Interceptor, that's for classroom use.
Okay.
I know the answer to that one. I believe CTE in general, several programs will be able to use the van.
So the van's gonna be for leaving premises and the car's just for examples, or?
That's my understanding.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Consent agenda is resolved, and we have one subcommittee meeting report tonight, and that's policy and personnel. And for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Storrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Policy and Personnel Subcommittee met on November 14th. We took care of over 30 policies, so I'm going to do my best to get through them as quickly as I can by grouping them. So the first group is that all this came out unanimous from subcommittee, so it's going right up for consideration. The first grouping is a motion to approve the edits and updates to align with masks policies of the following. Please note DBG is being added and IKE is being removed as it's in the second group. Here we go. JB, equal education opportunities. JFBB, school choice. DBC, budget deadlines. DBD, budget planning. DBG, budget adoption procedures. DBJ, budget transfer authority. DGA, authorized signatures. DH, bonded employees and officers. DI, fiscal accounting and reporting. DIE, audits. DJ, purchasing. DJE, procurement requirements. DK, payment procedures. KCD, public gifts to the schools. And KHB, advertising in schools. And I'll just do a quick summary of the changes, very minor stuff for most of them. Policy JB aligns with masks already. JFBB, we're just adding the new protected class language regarding hairstyles and such that we've already done for other policies. DBC, DH, DI, DIE, DJ, IKAE, and KCD, we're aligning with masks. DBD already aligns. DBG and DBJ, we're just adding Mass General Law 7137. DGA had minor edits. DJE had some missing regs. And KHB, we removed a reference to a policy that does not apply. So if everybody's okay with grouping them like that, seeing no objections, all those in favor? Or, I'm sorry, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Next group. So this one is just a notion to note the review date for the following policies as we already align with MASC. IHBF, homebound instruction. IKE, promotion and retention. JIB, student involvement in decision making. And yep, so is there any discussion regarding those? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes, thank you. All right, next we have a single policy where we have edits to policy IJOA, our field trip. One of the things that we did with this is we edited some of the wording because we created effectively 2 classes, is a good way to think about it, really 3. One is any local day trips within 75 miles, that could be approved by the principal, so it doesn't need to come to the school committee. But just like all other field trips, if they're outside of the 75 miles, if they're overnight, if they're international, they'll still come to the school committee. That was pretty much the majority of the changes for this policy. So I'll put that motion up for consideration. Is there any discussion? Yes?
What was the old policy? I know there's usually 3 checkboxes on those approval forms.
Yeah, so the real major difference is that the 75 miles wasn't there. Everything else was there. So the way it was in the past, it was a day trip, and they can set it local.
Community.
Whatever that means, local, that was principal. So now they just added the 75-mile as a quantifier. But the international and the overnight has always been the same.
Okay.
Good. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, the next group, we're looking to remove a bunch of policies that we continue to do what we've been doing for years now, which is to try to get rid of all forms and certs and things of that, permission forms, wherever we can. So these are the exhibits. We move them if they're still necessary, which is in most cases they are. We move them into more of a procedural binder, which is covered by the administration, controlled by the administration. So we have a motion to remove policy IHBDBA, which is in-school SAT review classes. It's not something that, it's still offered when needed, but we don't need a policy around it, and Mass doesn't really have one. IJOAE1, which is consent and release forms, which again, that's for field trips, all these are. IJOAE2, which is community field trip forms, as well as day field trip forms and overnight/international field trip forms. IJOAE3, day field trip medication delegation permission form, as well as medical form for students overnight, and medication delegation permission form for overnight international. So these aren't going away, they're just going to go into the procedural binder, and administration will cover them. So is there any discussion regarding these?
Yeah, can the administration just explain what is done with these exhibits, procedures that you take out of the policy book just for purpose of the public?
Yeah, they become part of a procedural binder that Judy has been keeping track of over the past several years since we've been removing them, and if we need access to them or if they need to be revised, we'll revise them in real time and share them with staff. So all of these field trip forms, they were revised to update with the policy as well as the medication forms, and so she has copies of all of those now to be part of that manual.
All right, so all these will still be used whenever there is a field trip. The appropriate forms would still be used, sent home, and filled out as needed. All right. Any other discussion?
Sure.
Yes.
By moving to the binder, does that remove oversight by the school committee, just make the purview of administration? Or what's the, I'm just add on to Steve's question, I'm not quite sure.
So if we need to make some minor edits to them, we'll do that, but if there's any real changes, usually it's from the actual policy first, and then we have to adjust the form after that, so.
Okay. And just as a follow-up, the odd one out is the SAT prep class one compared to the field trip ones. Is there a reason we're lumping them all together in one motion?
So in this case, it's all the motions that we're looking to remove. So they're, the majority of those were the exhibits for the field trip, and then we did have the SAT one. But again, it's just that the reason the SAT policy is being removed is that we really don't need it. It's not necessary. It's an offering, but we don't really need a policy around an offering. And again, Mass does not have that policy. And we try to do our best to stay consistent with Mass wherever we can.
Sure. And just, sorry, the back and forth, it's not covered by a policy, what is it covered by then going forward? How do we offer it? How does the student ask for it? And what do we do when they ask for it? Don't we need a policy around that?
Well, it's standard curriculum, which we would need policy, but if there's anything further, please.
Sure. So a lot of our requests are based upon like student requests and student enrollment. So if there is a need for a class, we'll always provide that opportunity for students to be able to take the class during the school day. So,
okay.
Just like any other class that we have, that's an elective. It's based upon requests.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Next, we have a single policy JJHR1, student travel regulations, and there were some minor edits that we made to it. The part of that was that the van one?
It is.
Yeah. So it already says in the policy that personal vehicles can't be used for field trips of this nature. So if students needed to go and they're not going on a bus, their parents would drive them. But the additional wording is that private vans are also included in that not allowed type vehicle. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that one will go up for discussion. Is there any discussion regarding policy JJHR1?
Sorry.
Yep, please. No?
I feel you mean a stickler here.
Yeah, please.
Why do we need to distinguish a van from a private automobile?
Fair question. Administration.
Sometimes we have school vans here. We would, allow that under certain circumstances for an emergency. If we needed to transport a child from wherever they were, we'd be able to go and get them and bring them back. And that's why this was changed so that it says the use of vans or private automobiles for trips planned to include late night or overnight student travel is not permitted except in an emergency. Existence of an emergency would be determined by the principal or trip leader. So
And
this
previously it was just automobiles.
yeah, and this was with our legal counsel looking at it and matching the language that we have in this policy with the IJOA policy as well. Yeah.
My understanding, again, is that this is clarifying when we can use vans. Right?
Correct.
Before, the idea was that the vans and automobiles were being tied together, and then these school vans that we had, there was a question on what we could do.
Mhm.
And now we have a clarification that it's not permitted except in a bona fide emergency, in which case we can use a school van, correct? So it's adding the ability?
We can use the vans if it's a school van, but we can't use like a
Right.
Not the personal.
personal one.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. Next one is a motion to approve the edits to policy JLCD, administering of medications to students. Again, this is applied, this is related to field trips. Can administration please summarize the additional wording that we added? It was a certification requirement, if I remember correctly, that we have to be certified in, I have it here.
Administering medications, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's the
Right
one.
here.
JLCD.
To train personnel, so the school district shall, through the district nurse leader, register with the Department of Public Health, which we already do, for medication administration and delegation, and train personnel for medication delegation during school events and field trips. So what we would do is before the student would go to a day field trip, or even in some cases an overnight field trip, we would train the personnel that are attending the field trip before they go with the nurse and how to administer the medication.
Right, and it's under the exception section of the policy. Okay, is there any discussion regarding this one? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And the last one is simple, just to note the review date for policy DD, funding proposals and applications. And we're going to align the legal references as follows. We're going to add Mass General Law 7137A, as well as 2 CFR 200. We're going to remove a reference to PL 874, which really no longer applies. Is there any discussion regarding policy DD edits? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have open forum. Is there anyone who would like to address the committee tonight in open forum? All right, I'll close open forum. Any new business tonight? All right, none. Then we will enter into executive session. The Attleboro School Committee will convene an executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 21A, 2, and 3, to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with union personnel and to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee, and to conduct a hearing on grievance by the Attleboro Education Association. The committee will not return to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Frappier?
Yes.
Mr. Withers, yes. Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Ms. Porto?
Yes.
Mr. Domenici?
Yes.
All right, we'll take a minute, and then we'll gather ourselves.